Hey everybody, it's Eric the Horror Man, and welcome to day 13 for my 31 Days of Horror. This movie is from Arrow, and it's from 1986, and I remember seeing bits and pieces of this movie a long time ago when I was a kid, never the whole thing. Then I finally got the whole movie on VHS, then I ended up upgrading it to the DVD, but when I saw that this movie was coming out on Blu-ray, I definitely had to get this movie in my collection, because this movie is definitely one of my favorites of all time, and that's House. This movie is a horror comedy. Here, the movie stars William Katt, who's known for doing that TV show from the 80s, the Great American Hero. I think that's what it's called, if I'm not mistaken. And George Wendt from that TV show Cheers, who played Norm. House is about where a writer who moves into his aunt's house after she ends up hanging herself, and he's trying to, not only write his new book, but he's also trying to get his life back together, like the divorce with his wife, his experiences in Vietnam, and the disappearance of his son, who just disappeared without trace. But once he moves into his aunt's house to get his life back together and start writing on his new book, some supernatural forces have some other ideas, like we have a mounted swordfish on the wall that moves, a witch posing as his ex-wife, and the writer's former war buddy coming back to get revenge on him. So this movie is just so much fun to watch. It's definitely one of my favorites. The music by Harry Manfredini is actually pretty good. I have the soundtrack for it, and it's just a very good soundtrack to listen to. The music to this film was just pretty good. I thought William Katt did a very good job in this movie. The house itself, it's actually a very nice house, because I always imagine living in a house like that, except without having the supernatural forces surprising me and just having other ideas. But the house itself is actually a very nice house to live in. I mean, I wouldn't mind living in that house, just not without the supernatural forces having some other ideas. But House is just a very, very fun movie. This movie is just totally underrated. Doesn't get a lot of mentions. Plus, I have the shirts. Well, just that one shirt from House, because like I said, this movie is just one of my favorites. It's just so much fun to watch. It's a horror comedy. I mean, there are some moments that could be a little funny and goofy and weird and stuff, but this movie just has one hell of a good story to it, and it's just a lot of fun to watch. So House, I definitely recommend checking this out. Out of a 10, I would give this like a 8.5 out of a 10, because this movie is just so much fun to watch, and it's just one of my all-time favorites, and it's always going to be one of my favorites, no matter how old I get. It's just always going to be up there in my favorite list of movies that I like. So House, I definitely recommend checking out. If you have a VHS, check out the VHS. If you try to get the DVD copy, good luck on that, because it's out of print. And if you have the Blu-ray, check this movie out, because this is not sold separately. It comes with House and House 2. So definitely recommend checking out House, because it's just so much fun to watch. Alright guys, so that's my review for my 31 Days of Horror for day 13. What'd you think of this movie? Please let me know in the comments down below if you've seen this movie. Yeah. And like and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for some more 31 Days of Horror. Later.